What's up? This your boy JG back with another video on music tips and reviews with JG. If you have subscribed to my channel, please press the subscribe button so you be up there all my latest content. Alright, let's get to it. So the last few months it has been this conversation, is R&B dead? And I feel, the answer to that question, it depends on your preference, what you like. If you like traditional R&B or you like hip-hop R&B. But I feel it's one main element that is missing from R&B. And I think that element is the church. I think, when we think about church, we think about soul. We think about emotion. We think about our spirits being changed, from the inside. And I think we're missing that soul in music. We're missing that emotion. And what I feel, it may be a generational, opinion. I was raised, in the late 80s and early 90s. You think about Boyz II Men, you think about Tony Braxton, TLC, all those great artists in the 90s. They brought forth that emotion in the music. They had song structure, bridges and stuff. And, of course, over time, those structures change. And then at the same time, technology, has changed. It made music sound different. It made it sound, in a way, organized. And that's a good thing and a bad thing. And I think, in the music back then, they had perfect imperfections. Somebody may have did an ad lib that they didn't mean to do, or their voice had, slipped a certain way that they didn't mean to do, but it's memorable. You think about Wanya on End of the Road. I heard that his voice was totally gone, and he was pressing through that, but the way his tone was on End of the Road made it classic. And then you think about it, a lot of the R&B artists from the 60s, all the way up to the 90s, the majority of them, early 2000s, the majority of them came from the church. That's why it was heavily influenced in R&B. If you think of Jodeci, they're from the church. Think of Tank, you think of Whitney Houston, you think of Aretha Franklin. Like I said earlier, Ray Charles, they're all from the church, and that, it had that soul, that church element that we need to bring back, that feeling again. And if you think about, going back to, like the 60s, where Ray Charles was in the music scene, it sounded like church, and then as time went, it kind of slowly, had its distance from the church sound over time. And now, the R&B the sound is not totally, or, somewhat influenced by the church sound. And so the soul is out of the music. And that's just my opinion. You may, feel different about that. But I think, it's missing the soul. It's missing the vulnerability, of, R&B. We feel like it's just going straight to sex and stuff like that. And it's not, emotion. It's not showing a picture. It's just going straight forward to, certain things. And let me know your opinion on that, because I feel, we missing that church element in music. We missing that soul. We missing that feeling that we once had in R&B. And Diddy briefly talked about that on his IG when he first addressed that R&B is dead, and I somewhat agree what he said, because you listen to music now, it's not really talking about the small things, not just sex. It just goes straight to sex now, and it's not any vulnerability in R&B. And so you know, we just got to, I think we just got to bring that element back in R&B, you know, so R&B can be in a place where people can go to, you know, they can have nostalgic moments. They can go back to moments where, you know, they first met their boyfriend or their girlfriend. And I think, you know, the church element, you know, brings forth those things, bring forth, you know, even in performances, it brings forth that audience participation in R&B music, where, you know, they can feel it, they feel goosebumps. And I think, you know, that church element brought goosebumps to people. You know, you hear Whitney Houston sing that note, you know, it gives you goosebumps. You know, when she sings, "I will always love you," you know, that's that church sound, that soul in her voice. You know, when Deborah Cox sang "Nobody's Supposed to Be Here," you know, you feel that church, you know, church moment. Even all the male groups like Jodeci, you know, you feel that church moment. And so let me know what you think about that. You know, I know everybody's not from church. Everybody's not from a church background, but we still can get that feeling back, you know, from church. You know, research your past, you know, the R&B artists out there. And I think that's what we're missing, to make that connection from the old generation to the new. I think we're missing that church element. So let me know, give me a comment what you feel about what I said. This has been another video from your boy JG. All right, peace.